So guys, today we are taking a look at the difference between wet sand and dry sand and what is the actual difference when you're coming out of the bunkers. So in the bunker here we can see got the bottom here which is quite dry and quite wet and compacted. We can see here the club really doesn't want to dig very much right there. Just going up on the side here which is a bit fluffier, and you can see club's going to go a lot further down and through that sand. Okay, still a little bit damp because obviously we've had a bit of rain and what have you, but the bottom of the bunker here is very, very wet. Okay, so what is the difference? Well, when you're coming out of wet sand, it's really difficult to alter true trajectory, okay, because you're going to get much more shear effect through the sand. That means you're going to get a lot more spin because you're not able to get as far underneath it. You're going to be nearer to the ball when you're making your initial contact, which will mean that the spin's going to increase. But because you can't alter the depth and the low point as much, you can't really alter trajectory and you can't alter spin, so it's really difficult to maybe play one that runs out a lot or one that goes really, really high or really low, depending on how you want to play your shot. Just because of how wet this sand is, you can't get through it. Okay, but obviously there is a way of playing it. Obviously we know that the ball's going to come out with a lot more spin, so it's something we really need to try and factor into that shot. I've got my options to play what I want from the side here, but in here I'm quite limited. So what we're going to do first of all is flare that left foot. Okay, I'm going to bend that left knee a little bit more so the weight can go a little bit more through that front foot. Okay, don't mean massively, but just so that it means that my angle of attack can get a little bit steeper. Okay, which will mean that I can get a little bit more down, because obviously when it's wet, there's more chance of, as you might have found out, if you're trying to play quite a shallow shot and you catch it and it bounces before the ball and then thins it, because although you're trying to have your same entry point as normal, it bounces off because the sand is so compacted and firm just because it's so wet. Obviously we know that the weight of wet sand, look at how it's coming up here, you know, really, really heavy, okay? Whereas if we get the quite fluffy stuff right on the side here, it's quite powdery and just, you know, drops off. So the difference there is going to be huge on how the ball interacts, now the club moves through it. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is get that knee out a little bit more and get the feeling of working more down and through it this way, okay, to try and get a little bit more down on the attack angle, okay, but knowing for a fact that it's going to spin a little more. Okay, so having a look here, we're just going to get into the bunker. Okay, as you can see, I'm shuffling in pretty hard there, but I'm not moving into the sand. I'm just kind of creating a secure footing, but I'm not able to work down. So you'll be able to see how heavy the sand is by when you move in. I can't get through this, so it means my bottom's quite high, okay? So I've got to adjust for this in the shot, okay? So now what I'm going to look for is got my weight slight through that front foot, okay, and I'm going to try and play this shot, okay, I'm going to keep that there. I'm feeling like the club is just going to be working a little bit more down and through that sand, okay, as that weight will stay a little bit more over that left side. Okay, so it's kind of come out. It's gone a little bit runny. I caught that a little bit behind here, okay, more than maybe I wanted to, and it just ran on a little bit. But it was, you know, I wasn't disgusted with the approach shot. I just thought I'd get a little bit more spin than I did. I think I was just very, very wary of how heavy and wet that sand was and didn't necessarily quite adjust for it. But the shot was really, really good. It landed exactly where I wanted to. It's just got off the side of a little slope to the side of the pin. But I've hit there, but we know that in that position, if I could just nip that a little more, that'll have a lot of spin. It's just a case of then just adjusting how far forwards you're going to get with that weight. But the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're getting some level of control. I just needed to land that a little bit shorter to play that shot, or to choose the landing zone I did, I needed to just not have as much weight on the front foot. In here now, I don't need to think about having anywhere near as much weight through that left leg. I'm a little bit more centered, okay? And obviously I know that I can get more through that sand, okay, so I can see that I can get into it a little more, okay, ball's a little bit more above my feet, okay, and what I'm going to try and do here is just let that club just bottom out and slide under the ball a little bit more. Should generate a little bit more height on this one, you'd think, just because of the way we're able to play that shot. So that came out really nicely. Okay, got a bit more height and it stopped quite well on the green, so that was a pretty good shot overall. Okay, we can see here more sand there, way less here. This was a lot more diggy in terms of the strike, but it needed to be because there's two completely different scenarios, okay? If I wanted to play this with more spin, like I say, you wouldn't get quite as much weight set left, and try and just nip it that little bit more, which will then alter that strike and give me the ability to get more spin on it. But you want to make sure, because the bass is so heavy, I wanted to make sure that I actually got down and through it. Last thing you want to do is end up thinning it and get no control whatsoever. So it's adjusting where your low point is and how you're going to do that in your stance, varying it due to what the sound's going to be. Therefore, then you can impact what the shot's going to do, and you can then change what your control is. And then this is all to do with golf IQ in a bunker, to do with assessing a lie, to see how that's going to affect the shot and what you need to do before you hit the shot in order to give yourself the best opportunity to get that ball up and down. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Thanks for watching, and talk with you again very soon.